Our interview is with a 29-year-old woman who lives in Tel Aviv and who survived the events of October the 7th. She and her boyfriend, Sacha were visiting his family in a kibbutz on the Gaza border for that weekend. Her name is Sapir, and her boyfriend, his mother, and his grandmother were all kidnapped by Hamas. Sapir was released as a part of the first hostage deal after 55 days in captivity. Her boyfriend is still in Gaza. We're not sure whether he's alive or not. His mother and grandmother were also released. The family are Russian-born Israelis, and the Russian government played an important part in pressuring Hamas for their release. Now, in the beginning of this interview, I asked Sapir about the events of October the 7th, and it was very, very hard to hear these things. I decided it was probably a good idea to start with what happened to her after she had been taken captive. There's still so much evidence emerging from the events of October the 7th, and it suddenly occurred to me that Sapir is the woman on the motorbike wedged between two Hamas terrorists being driven into Gaza City. She says while she was in the city, she was also beaten by civilians and then taken to an undisclosed location, first in houses, and then for a little while after that in tunnels. This is her story. This is one of the most harrowing things I've heard. So you're captured, you're beaten, you're taken into the tunnels and the houses, and you're beaten by the civilians, which is something nobody's told me about. You know, I know that the terrorists themselves did a huge amount of violence on that day and in the days subsequent to that. But the fact that you at the same time had the civilians do this to you, and what kind of people were looking after you, feeding you, allowing you to go to the bathroom while you were a hostage? Who was in charge of you?
So it's a change from time to time. A long time I was with 4 terrorists, sometimes in the same room. One night even with 10 terrorists in the same room. And most of them say that they don't want to give you food. They give you just something very small that you will stay alive, and just a little bit water. And one of them, I recognize that he seems different, and like he couldn't believe on what they did. And I saw there a young girl in the darkness. When I saw her, she sit in the darkness, and she, I know that this terrorist, he looked at her and he couldn't believe that they took young children to this place.
Sure.
And he was very changed from the other. It was unusual because the others was very barbarians. And this man, he wait until all the terrorists go to sleep, and then he give me more food. Like he saw me suffer, he saw that I'm very hungry.
He was a bit kinder.
I don't know if to say kind, because
Well, compared to the others.
all of them told me that they will come back to Israel again and again and again. And in the next time it will be maybe worse. So I'm not sure if the kindness...
Did they talk to you while you were in captivity? Did they speak to you at all?
They speak, some of them, yes, just 2 of them. And they speak about the Quran, about Palestine and Israel. And they say that it's not about the money. Like, I say, what you want? And they say, not the money. We don't want a country in Gaza. We just want to eliminate Israel. We want all this place. We don't want piece of land. No, just all this place to eliminate Israel, to make it to Palestine, to a Muslim religious country. And that's it.
Could you tell us anything about these people who kidnapped you? What sort of people they were? What did you notice about them?
I noticed that it's a religion war.
So for them, it was mostly religious.
Yes, they pray 5 times per day. And they believe, like in their religion, they can do all the things that they did. Their religion support it. And this is the most scared thing, that it's religious war. So I just understood something that it's very painful for me, because I'm a peace person.
Yes.
And when they took me out of Gaza, when I released, I was happy from one hand, but from the other hand, it was so pain to me to understand that we can't live in peace and this war will stay forever.
So you were always a person who wanted peace and believed in peace. You believed it was possible for people to live side by side.
Yes.
But now that you've been through this, you don't think that's possible?
No. They say that it's not possible.
Well, Sapir, I hate to take you back because it must be very painful for you, but tell me about the day you were released, or when you found out that you might be released, because you must have thought while you were there, I'm going to die here.
About the day I released?
Yeah.
They told me 10 minutes before that it's 90% that I will be released. And I didn't believe, because I hear that many times. So I didn't believe, but finally I saw a person that take the hostages to home, because a young girl, she released 3 days before me. So I understand that it's real.
Wow. And were you happy or just as sad because now you were leaving other people behind? And you don't know whether they're going to take you home or whether something else is going to happen.
So they come to say me goodbye, all the hostages that stay behind. But I say, why you tell me goodbye? Tomorrow, or I don't know, maybe a few days after, I will see you in Israel. And we didn't think that it will take so long.
And of course, there are still those people who are there waiting.
They are waiting.
Later, including Sacha, right?
Including Sacha. And there are many people with families there that some of them saw their families killed in this day in front of their eyes. And some of them don't know who's still alive and who killed. And these thoughts kill them every day more and more. So it's not even about if they get food or don't get food. They don't want that. They don't want to eat. They just care about their families. The father of Sacha, he killed in the October 7. And Sacha's still there and is the only son. So it's very small family, just mother and grandmother, and that's it.
Now, your boyfriend Sacha, do you know anything about the conditions? Because you said the last time you saw him was on October the 7th. Do you get any updates? Do they tell you what might be happening to him? Or do you just hope?
No, unfortunately, nobody saw him from the released hostages. So we just pray, and I hope to see him soon.
We hope so too. We really do. When you're kept with the other hostages, are you able to support each other? When they were all with you, are you in one place where you can all be with each other? Women, maybe girls?
Yes, I was with another hostage, a young girl, 16 years old. And I met her on the first day. And I remember that the first day I was so sad and I cried and I was saying, God, why I'm in this place? I'm a good person. Why it's happened to me? And then I say to myself, no, you need to think in different way. And if you are in Gaza, it's because you're supposed to be here and you just need to understand why. And when I look at this girl and I saw that she was terrified and she was crying, I say to myself that I don't need more than it to understand that I need to be in this place. And I want to save her and to make her happy. And from that moment that I decided this is my goal, I felt so powerful that I really don't know how. I felt so blessed. And I could make difficult moments, take difficult moments and make it to funny moments sometimes. And when someone else someone new hostage come to our group, we learn each other to care to the other people. And if you can take more food and put it on the side or hide it, or if you can just speak tell a funny story, or just do like a little game. So every day, everyone do something for the others. And this is what keep my soul and keep the other souls there.
It's amazing to me. It's very sad, but it's amazing to me because in all of this violence, clearly people find a way to survive. People find a way to keep it together.
Yes.
Did you cry? Were you alone? Did you lie there at night thinking about what would happen?
I thought about myself just in the start days. And after I stopped, I didn't thought what will be happened. And I'm a belief person. So I'm saying, you like fight with yourself. I believe, I don't believe. You're not sure in this situation. But I say to myself, stop to think. And you have to trust God that He will choose to you. And maybe you will stay alive, maybe not. But I felt like I asked myself if this is my last time of my life. So what I want to feel. And the answer was that I want to be someone with meaning. And to be someone with meaning, it's to put my problems on the side and to be focused on the other people. And I find that this thing make me so strong to just don't think about myself anymore. And I was so selfish before this war. So I'm changed.
Really? Do you think you were, or has
Yes.
it changed you that much? It must have. It's been a horrible experience.
Yes, I thought about myself and about my money and about how can I do more funny to myself, more fun things. But I don't think that I look on the other people. And I'm so happy that I'm changed now. I'm not happy about the reasons that happens, but now I'm just volunteer. I go to many places around the world and in my country and talk about that. And I want to give people power. It's not matter if it's Jewish or non-Jewish people, to look about the others, to try help donate something. And maybe one day all of us will be united against the terrorist organizations.
A difficult thing here in South Africa is that a lot of people believe the propaganda that nothing happened on the 7th of October. I mean, I can't believe it. You obviously can't believe it. But there are people who say it wasn't as big a deal, it wasn't as brutal, it wasn't as terrifying. What would you say to those people?
So I think that it's very hard to believe on what happened because it was so bad. It was like, I even can't believe. I couldn't see the things that happened.
Yeah.
I felt that I'm dreaming and I'm still feel like that. But, you know, when I came back to Kibbutz Nir Oz after the war, and I saw a house in front of me of a family that the terrorists burned this house with all the family inside of that. It was 2 parents and 3 young children. And I saw another family that they kidnapped all the family, parents with children. And I saw the Nova party that many women raped there.
Yeah.
And if there are people that think that it's not brutal things, so they are exactly like Hamas, and they are belong to a terrorist organizations that we need to fight against them.
What would you say to the other hostages, if you could speak to them now, those people who are still being held?
So I want to say that I met many people that support us. Many Christian people and many non-Jewish and Jewish people around the world. And it makes me feel glad that to see that all these people want the hostages to bring them home. And I hope that they are there because there is a very big goal to help to this world. So I really hope that שיש משמעות גדולה, מקווה שיש משמעות גדולה למלחמה הזאת.
She hopes that this war is going to have a huge impact.
Yeah, that's that it'll all be worthwhile in the end.
Wow.
The sacrifice wouldn't have been for nothing.
Yes.
What would you like the world to know about Israel in this war, in this fight? Because this is not a fight Israel asked for. There was no warning on the 6th of October that this was going to happen. You had no warning in the kibbutz you were in. What would you like people to know about Israel and what Israel's been doing since the 7th?
So I'm not sure if there was warning before, because I'm not from the army. I don't have enough information.
But as a civilian, you didn't know.
But as a civilian, I had bad feelings 6 months before the October 7. I thought that it's something personal.
Yes.
And yes, it was 6 months before the October 7. I felt that something very bad will happen to me. And I didn't know why I feel like that, because everything in my life was usual and was perfect. But the feelings were so bad and so strong that during the time I felt that maybe I have a very bad illness in my body. And I go to many doctors and I did all the possible tests. And one of the doctors even told me, yes, you're right, you have some virus in your body, but it's not really dangerous as your feelings. And I didn't believe him. And for the first time in my life, I decided to pray.
Yes.
I believe person, but I never prayed.
Really? First time?
First time in my life, because I felt like I'm standing in front of a very big danger that just God can save me from this danger. And I was looking for a chapter in Tehillim for complete recovery. And nobody knew which chapter to give me. And one day I saw a chapter in the Instagram And they wrote there that if you read it for 30 days, you will be healthy and miracles will happen to you. And I read this chapter every day, 30 days. And the last day was the October 7.
Wow, that can't be a coincidence.
And it can't be, because after 2 weeks, I remember this prayer, and I'm saying how I remember that. I don't even notice about what, it's talking about what. And it's words in Tehillim that I don't understand the meaning of these words. And on the last week, the kidnapping week, it was the first time that I noticed to the words that I'm saying. And this chapter is not related to medicine. It's related to war. And God saved me from these enemies. And even the word Hamas appeared there.
That is incredible.
It's 27, chapter 27. And on October 7, I understood the meaning of this prayer, and I just say it again and again and again while I listen the terrorist outside. And I'm saying, I hope that God sent me that to save me.
Well, clearly it happened.
And it's happened.
You've been saved, so it would be only foolish to believe that all of that was by chance.
Yes.
So, Sapir, what about the criticism that Israel gets now for what they're doing to try and free the hostages, to try and get Hamas out and essentially remove the threat to their own country and their own people?
So, first of all, I believe that it's not supposed to be a war that Israel against Gaza. It's supposed to be all the world against the terrorist organizations. But the world don't see that like me,
No.
unfortunately. And Hamas a threat on our existence,
Existence, yes.
on our existence. So we have to do something with that. And they say we will come back. So what we can do? I really ask, if someone say, no, just stop this fight, so tell us what we can do. And Israel say, okay, so if not to eliminate Hamas, we want to take them out of Gaza.
Yeah.
But they don't want to go out of Gaza.
No.
They want to stay there.
And from your story about the day that you were captured and taken into Gaza, it seems to me that the organization that is Hamas is supported by most of the people in Gaza, most of those people who beat you in the street
Yes.
in Gaza City.
Yes, as I saw at the October 7, I didn't know nothing about Gaza and about the people there. But what I saw on October 7 is many, many people, thousands. All the street was full of civilians. And not just the street. Many civilians come to Israel to picture all these brutal things and to cheat things like televisions, electronical things, and to burn houses. The citizens was involved in everything that happened. So they are exactly like Hamas.
And those same citizens, many of them worked in Israel.
Yes, many worked in Israel.
So what do you know about Hamas, and what can you tell the world about Hamas?
What can I tell? That Hamas, it's like Daesh and like the other organizations. And, the American remember the 9/11. We remember the October 7. And there are many other black dates. So I want to say to the people that against us what the next date and in which country it will be.
Well, I hope there isn't going to be anything like this anytime soon. I really hope that this is a clarion call and a warning to the rest of the world about what could happen. You were sitting there in that house with your boyfriend, with his family, and then you suddenly started hearing the bombs going off, and you suddenly heard the explosions. And then before you knew it, you were on a bike with these two terrorists, and you were being taken into Gaza. And you were held for how many days?
55.
I'm very, very happy that you're out. I'm thrilled for you and for your family that you are a survivor, that you've managed to make it out of there. I am very, very sorry that your boyfriend is still there. I'm very, very sorry that there are so many other hostages that are still there. I think everyone in the world prays for them to be released and for this to come to a peaceful resolution, because everything that has happened since then is as a result of the actions of Hamas. And it's unfortunate to me that a young woman like you had to find yourself in the middle of all of this. I'm absolutely astonished by your bravery. And I want to thank you very much for coming to spend time with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sapir, it's a pleasure to speak to you about so many things here, but I mean, obviously we'd prefer to meet under happier circumstances, but it's an incredible story, and we will keep in touch with you. I would love to hear more about what happens from here on in your life. It's great to actually hear this from someone who went through it, and I hope everybody's listening. That's all I can say. It's just the most awful and harrowing story, and this is not something from 1939. This is something from 2024, 2023. It's incredible. Thank you.